Hello everybody. Um, this is Talk Hard number 4, I believe. I might make this the story of energy part 1, just so I can have some sort of continuity, some sort of thing to go by, where every time I make a video, if I can't think of anything else to talk about, I can at least stick to the energy storyline, because I know I can always launch into that. I am self-obsessed, and I can just do that because of it. I don't know. So, before I do launch into this, though, I just want to acknowledge that Rocky Harrison passed away last night. I think he passed away last night. I listened to The Evil One like maybe 1.5 times, and then Goodbye Sweet Dreams from the Ockerville Road record he did in 2010. That's just a beautiful song. And For You, just a lot of songs. I obviously, well, not obvious, but I got into Rocky Erickson because of Ghost, and his music really moved me, and I was really saddened to hear his passing. On my channel, there's a cover I did a couple years ago of If You Have Ghosts. It's inspired by Ghost's version, but I did acknowledge in the title that Rocky wrote it. I just recently got a copy, actually, of The Evil One on blue vinyl. But anyway, it's really sad when, like, great songwriters pass away. I just never got to see him live, and that really sucks. I don't know. Life goes on, I guess. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Nice. Sorry, I'm looking at some stuff online. I noticed that Tobias from Ghost posted that he wouldn't mind having somebody sing in Ghost so that he could play guitar. And I thought instantly, well, there's my in. I have to try to get in contact with him somehow. He looked directly into the camera during that interview. He was just like, I forget what he said, but I did for a moment kind of feel like it's like, oh shit, I should go for this. But you know, it's not like it's an open audition. He wasn't like 100% serious. It was just hypothetical. So yeah, I'm not actually delusional to the point where I think that, oh, I might have a chance to be the singer of Ghost, but I am realistic enough to think to myself, well, I do know what it's like to feel like you're playing the wrong instrument in a band, which I was doing before Energy, which I guess that's where we'll transition. Before Energy, I was doing a band called Crooks with Connor, who ended up in Energy, obviously, and some other people who ended up in Energy involved in that with Energy in some way, I guess. We all had a band. It was very fast melodic hardcore, and I played guitar. My friend sang. It's actually, I think I uploaded one of the performances, because we actually played the same show that Energy played, like our first show. Which is kind of weird, like a crossover moment there. But yeah, I was playing guitar in that band, and I didn't really want to play guitar in a band. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be the lead singer through and through. And I was just going through the motions, and I could tell that everyone could tell that I was going through the motions. I really liked Connor's playing. I thought he was unbelievable. And him and I kind of, when Dave, the singer for this band, Crooks, that I'm talking about, when he quit Crooks to go join Death Before Dishonor, me and Connor were just like, all right, so we're gonna start a punk band because everyone's doing hardcore, and that was kind of our intention from the beginning, was we should do punk instead of hardcore. But like, it was, I don't know, like we knew that it was gonna come out sounding a little hardcore, because we meant punk as in old school hardcore, and less of hardcore breeding hardcore breeding hardcore breeding hardcore, if you give it I don't know if that makes any sense, but it just didn't seem like there were any, it's like, oh, so-and-so has a new band. It's like, oh, let me guess, they're a hardcore band. It just was really painful at that time in that area. I don't know, it felt so like just dead. And it felt boring, really. And I remember just wanting to start a band that was like a punk band. Like, definitely punk. No, like, ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I remember I wanted us to, I wanted us to sound basically like what Invasions ended up sounding like, roughly. Like, that's the general gist I had in my head. And we met up with some people, and actually my brother, Eric, who has been badgering me to make another one of these videos. So you can thank him, actually. He sent me, like, whoa, I think like a firework just went off, or a couple. But he just sent me a million text messages and was telling me to do this, so I had to think of some sort of a continuity thing, so let's just stick to energy. So there's just some talking into the camera. So when I got all that, when Connor and I, what had happened was, I said to my mother when I was about 18 or 19, I said to her, Mom, because she started to get on my case about, like, my future and, all the typical stuff, and and I remember I had just seen that Bridge 9 had signed the band Mental, and I got their 7-inch, and I was like, this is fucking amazing. This is a really good record, and like, holy shit, it's awesome. And I want to say I was 18. Like, is that 2003? That's when I was 18. So if that release came out then, that's roughly right. But I remember that came out, and then it was announced that they were signed to Bridge 9. Now, no offense to anyone in Mental. I really actually love, literally, I think every song you have. So 2 thumbs up from me. But it was very simple music. And I thought to myself, at age 18 or something, I didn't think to myself. I actually said to my mother when she doubted me, I said, Mom, by the time I'm 23 years old, I am going to be signed to a label called Bridge 9 Records, and I'm going to be touring in a band. I swear I said this to her when I was 18, maybe 19. and I forget what that's called, but there's a term for that when you like will something into happening. Um, I just could see from where I was musically and what I had to offer that if this band Mental could get signed to Virgin Island, then I most certainly could. And I'm not putting them down. It's just that they were very simple, which is what makes them amazing. I think Mental have some of the best riffs I've ever heard in hardcore. So I'm by no means saying bad things about them. Again, but it was something about it just said to me, I can get on this label too, and yeah. So I spent the next few years struggling to find bandmates because nobody wanted to cooperate with my idea, and I just was like, I don't know. It was just me and Connor kept linking up with people, and it was like, whatever. But I remember one day I was working at the hospital that I worked at, and a lady said to me, she basically said to me, "What do you want to do with your life?" And I said, "I want to tour in a band. I want to be in a band, and I want to be on tour." Like, I heard Get in the Van when I was like 13 or 14 or 12 or I don't even know. And that just went, it's just, that's how it changed me. So I just was like waiting. I felt in like this perpetual like cycle of just being stuck in a rut of like, why am I not in a band touring yet? And this woman says to me, she says, "What do you want to do with your life?" And I said, "I want to be in a band." And she's like, "What are you waiting for? Just do it." And I said, "Well, I haven't found the right people, blah, blah, blah," I give her the runaround, all the reasons you give people that you're, when you're trying to basically avoid the truth, which is that you're too afraid to go out of your comfort zone and maybe do something a little intense, maybe a little drastic. Well, she said to me, "You're just gonna end up here." And where we were, it was a terminal hospital. Like, so she didn't, not literally. She's not telling me that I'm gonna end up in dying from some terminal illness. But I got what she was saying. She said, "You're just gonna end up here, just like me. So go be in a band." Like, it was like out of a fucking movie. I swear to God this happened. And I just stopped trying at work. I felt like Peter Gibbons in Office Space, which I think Office Space and Get in the Van might be the two biggest inspirations for like me just starting energy. But yeah, I just stopped caring at work until I got fired, and then once I got fired, I just intentionally let my life fall apart, I guess, in a way, just so that I would be tied down to less things. And in the meantime, while I was letting myself get fired, I basically was looking for bandmates, and I didn't care who. I just didn't care who. I was like, I just need someone to get something started with, and then maybe I can shape it into something. That's literally where my mind was at. I was just so stir crazy from not doing fucking anything. And when I just asked my brother, I was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Do you know anybody?" Like, or I think he might have suggested it. He's like, "I know this kid Mikey from Uxbridge." I was like, "All right, let's check it out." And apparently, this kid Mikey came with another guitarist and drummer, and I was like, "Well, there's a band." And they were like, "Do you like Kid Dynamite?" And I was like, "No, not at all." I'm like, "Do you like AFI?" And they were like, "Shut your mouth and open your eyes." And I was like, "All right, it's whatever. Let's meet halfway." I was really just trying to make something happen. So Connor and I would drive up to Uxbridge to meet up with these people that I didn't know from a hole in the wall. And then we just started rehearsing. And a few rehearsals went by, and I did not sing one note. I came into this whole thing like saying, all right, I'm gonna be the singer because in my last band I played guitar and I didn't wanna, I refused to do anything but the thing I want to do, and that's be the lead singer, the front man of the band. And I just, I was too afraid. I was too afraid to sing in front of other people. And then one day, I think one of them, Mikey or Rob or someone, texted me, or they're basically kind of just saying like, look, you gotta sing. You're singing at the next practice, and we don't really care. Like, or I forget how they worded it, but I was like panicking, and I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't even know. I was like, all right, well, I'll probably just sing a cover song or something with them, or I didn't know what, because we were still just working things out. We knew that we wanted to do a band. We were kind of fooling around with like arrangement ideas, but I didn't really have much formulated. Then I remember, the night before that practice where I first sang, I said to my friend Mike Randini, who, later ended up in Energy, I said to him that I was having like anxiety about being a singer in front of these people, and what if they don't like my voice and all this stuff. And he basically told me just go in there knowing whether you get the job or not. I wasn't auditioning, but it's like, kinda, it's like if I sucked, I certainly wasn't gonna sing. So he just said, go in there knowing that you're the best singer in the room, because you are. And something about that just gave me this like sense of self-confidence, and I just said to myself, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go in there and floor them with my voice, because I have an awesome voice. It just Mike, you saying that just clicked, made me click in my head or something with my confidence. So I guess you blame you for my ego too, then maybe. But anyway, so I went in, and it was actually scary as hell still, because I showed up late, and they had written a song, a whole 43-second song or something. Yeah, is that what it is? And it was Lost and Found. And I showed up, and they were like, all right, sing. I was like, sing what? I was like, what do you mean sing? And they were just like, I remember Mikey D, he's just so like ADHD or whatever, ADD, I don't know. And he's just like, just whatever, just sing something, just sing. And I was just like, oh God, and I was panicking, but then I was trying to remember what Mike Randini said to me, and I looked at my notepad of paper or stuff, something that I had written when I was like 19 or 20. And I was 20 years old at the time of this, I think. Yeah. And I was 20. And I just had on my notepad, how could things go wrong so fast? How could the way it's always been turn out not to last? How could you bury these feelings with the past or in the past? And then losing you was finding me. That's it. I just had those, I think it's 4 lines. And I sang it exactly how it is on the record the first time through. And that's the first melody that came to mind, and it came to mind live. It was like, that song came to life like so organically. It was insane. I've never experienced the creation of a song like that before in my life. And I still think Losing You is, losing you was finding me might be my favorite lyric I've ever written. And most people say that about like newer things they've done, but I don't know, that resonates with me still to this day. And yeah, and then when I finished singing all the way through, they were literally jumping up and down. They were so like excited to hear it, because they were like, Jesus Christ, oh my God, I can't believe you have a voice like that. Like, they were like really impressed. And I was just elated, I think is the word. I was just so relieved and excited and happy, and just everything, that they liked how my voice sounded, and that I wasn't like, I don't know, that I wasn't getting rejected. And, you know, I think they were just, oh, it sounds like this, it sounds like that, you know, it sounds like Pennywise, it sounds like Ignite. You know, they were just immediately trying to like figure out like what that just sounded like, what we just did, that how good things go wrong so fast, you know, whatever. And I get my own song wrong. Or is that how it goes? I don't know. But anyway, I just like got off track there. But yeah, so we were all excited and stuff, and I just remember from that point forward, we just were just super focused on getting things done. And then I know Cyanide came next, and then one day Mikey D picks me up from practice, and he's like, oh, he picks me up for practice or something, or I don't know. He surprised me and just was like, oh, we're recording today. I was like, oh, we are. I just remember being like surprised that we were recording, or something. Something was not planned, I remember. And I was just told we were recording a demo. And I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I was like, what? The like 1 minute and 50 seconds of music we have in the 2 songs that we've written? And he's like, yeah, sure, why not? Who cares? Skid Ian's gonna record it. And I was like, okay. And, so we just went in there, and I did that demo, or we did that demo. And that was the first time I'd ever screamed, like, at all, I think. I just was like, Jesus, how are you supposed to scream? So I just thought like Zach from Rage Against the Machine at the end of Freedom, or like in Inside Out or something, like just something that sounded genuine and real and primal. And I had never practiced screaming. I was not a bedroom screamer. So I sang in my bedroom constantly and danced around and pretended I had a microphone and all that. I didn't really scream. Screaming was not ever an interest of mine until I was in a band and felt the need to insert it for creative purposes. But anyway, we did that 2-song demo, and it took 8 hours. And we brought it home. I put it up on the MySpace. Actually, that made me completely forget where I came up with the name, or like when I came up with the name. It was somewhere in that area that I was just going at. We were in the parking lot at a show. That's right, yeah. We were just at a show in Brockton. And we were talking about how we just couldn't all agree on like any music, except we all liked Rancid and Operation Ivy. So it just popped into my head. I was just like, let's call the band Energy. That's the one album we can all agree on, right? And they all just were like, yeah, like there was like, that's the name, that's it. And then yeah, actually this poster right here is the first Energy flyer that Mikey drew up for some local shows, and we put them everywhere. And yeah, but that's how I came up with the name. I just thought that's we're gonna be a punk band in the hardcore scene. I want it to definitely be known that we're coming from a punk place. Like I don't know. It's just really important to us and important to me. And yeah, so we had a name, and we were fast and energetic, so it kind of fit. And anyway, so we recorded that demo, and I went home on March 31st, 2006 to upload it to our MySpace page. I may have even made a MySpace page to upload it. I don't remember. But I remember when I put it up, I posted it, or somebody posted it. Something happened on the internet where our plays went up a lot. I don't remember any numbers. I tried asking somebody, you remember the play count on our... They were just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, no. Like, I'm the only person that even probably remembers anything like this, but the play count was really high, I guess. And there was like a 10-plus page thread about us on the Bridge 9 message board. And I was like, what is going on? I was like, oh my god, is this happening? Like, what is going on? Like, and everyone was saying it's a breath of fresh air, oh my god. And less than 24 hours later, I was contacted by Rock Vegas Records to meet up and have a verbal like meeting about getting signed or whatever, doing something, working together. So, and there was never going to be contracts or anything like that. So within 24 hours, we were signed to an independent label and putting our song on the internet. And that was astonishing, and that was like that will never not be like mind-blowing. And I remember when we put it up and he said that, I think I met up with him, we met up with him, the Rock Vegas guy and Chris, and he was just like, oh, okay, so where's the rest of that demo? And I was like, what do you mean? And he's just like, because it was such a short demo. And he literally thought there had to have been more songs, because it sounded so good, the production. And it's like, no, those are our only 2 songs. I don't know, those are our only 2 songs. And he's just like, what the he's like, kind of like, I could tell he's just like confused by that. And he's like, well, write like 5, get like 5 or 6 songs together, and I'll put you up at the Outpost, and we'll do an EP. How's that sound, or whatever? I was just like, Jesus Christ, the Outpost? That's where like the Dropkick Murphys, Blood for Blood, Darkbuster, Slapshot, like tons of like my favorite bands, like recorded at, and like all of a sudden, because of a demo I put up on the internet, I was just like beside myself with how fast this was climbing. And also, I'm just gonna, that wasn't the only label that approached me in the first few days of having that on the internet, actually. I'm not gonna say the label, actually. But yeah, the name of this label was very tempting. Simply because of some of the influential bands and records that have been put out on this label. They sent me a message saying that they loved the demo and that they wanted to put something out by us. And Jesus, I don't know if I'd even be able to find this email because it's in some old Yahoo email or something, so, they could call me a liar, but, yeah, I had to turn them down, even though they put out some of the most legendary hardcore albums of all time, I could sense that it was just smarter or something for us to go with Rock Vegas. So I did that. We did that. And then the Rock Vegas guys just started getting us on pretty much every local show that like was big, because they were setting it up. Like if it was like Ignite, Converge, Modern Life is War, just any of the any of the big hardcore bands that were playing shows in Boston around then, we would just get added on as the opener. So that was nice. And in the meantime, we had a practice space in Taunton that we were writing Punch the Clock in. And we were writing it and writing it and writing it. And then, yeah, we spent a bit of time in there, went through a few members, already changed a drummer once in the process. Just after writing our third song, I think, we already changed drummers. Streetlights was really hard. Really hard. I remember going upstairs and having some anxiety when we were writing that. That one we wrote actually in Uxbridge still. And yeah, I didn't really realize how catchy of a chorus that was. I like that one. You're gonna see that in our live set soon. Sooner than you think. Anyway, yeah, so I was writing Streetlights, and I have a memory of that, being upstairs and hearing them working on the music, like Connor doing the whatever, and yeah, it had an alternate intro, and then we played our first show on April 20th, 2006 in Attleboro, Mass, and then sometime between then and Warped Tour, the guitarist Mikey, who started the band with us, left. They departed the band, and he was the main, like, I guess, like, riff writer or like chord progression writer, like music writer, I suppose of Punch the Clock, and he just was no longer in the band. And I thought to myself, oh no, I can't have my band, my dream, break up and stop. This was going so well. This was showing so much promise. And it was immediately looking like it was going to fall apart within like 4 or 5 months of existing. And I was like, yeah, that's not going to happen. I'm like, I was just immediately like, we're going to get somebody else. And that's that. And we, I remember that's when I think begged and eventually convinced Joe Friedman to at least fill in for a bit on guitar, where his first show with us was Warped Tour, because Bridge 9 and Rock Vegas had a stage on the Massachusetts date of the 2006 Warped Tour. It was in the Brockton Fairgrounds or something, I think. And yeah, I was like, oh my god, it's August. This band put out our first song to the world in April, and we're playing Warped Tour. We're not like on Warped Tour, but we are playing a Warped Tour date. I was like, this is insane. I was 21. And I remember we sounded really good because Joe's an insanely good guitarist. And I just remember I was trying to like sneak people in or something. and I was like way on the other end of the place, and people, all of a sudden I just heard, I was like, they're starting without me, and so they played all the way through Lost and Found without me, all 45 seconds of it, and I just sprinted back to the stage, and the crowd just thought it was an intro. Just like, they didn't even know that it wasn't. We just played it again, except with me singing, and yeah, that was interesting, playing Warped Tour. It just felt like I was playing an outdoor show, like at a real venue or something. It wasn't like it wasn't like an enormous amount of people, but it happened, and it was pretty cool. And then after that, went back and forth with Joe, trying to get him to join the band, and he'd play every show with us, but then he didn't want to record Punch the Clock, so I had to learn all the guitar parts for the rhythm. And then we went into the Outpost on September 15th, 2006, and we tracked... Actually, why don't I just stop it there? Because I'll just start the next one at Punch the Clock. And like the actual recording of that. Because I feel like I'm running out of steam right now. And yeah, but so that's what led up to Punch the Clock. We were demoing stuff. We were demoing the entire EP with our future guitarist Dan Mancini in his basement on like an 8-track or a 4-track like Tascam or some kind of thing like that. And but yeah, we were basically doing pre-production because Jim at the Outpost asked me to record at least boombox demo versions of the songs. So that's what I did, or that's what we did. But we did more than that. We like multi-tracked it or did it live or something. I can't remember, but I have them still. And yeah, I gave him those. And then I think everyone fooled around with the instrumental tracks and did some goof off vocals. It was called Conroy's Bluff or something, where everybody like made fun of each other or something. I don't know. I wasn't really involved. I didn't think it was that funny or something. I mean, they were funny. I just didn't think doing it would be very funny. Like if I did it, it just wasn't my style of humor, but it was fucking hilarious. Yeah, so we finished writing Punch the Clock before Warped Tour even. So we were just planning. Oh wait, I skipped over our first tour. It's so difficult, like, to remember this stuff. Yeah, we but yeah, our first tour, we teamed up with, or met up with, a band called At All Costs, and who later became HostageCom. And we did a 6-date tour. This is with Mikey in the band still, and we did a 6-date tour where we just played like Pennsylvania and Ohio, and I have a laminate of it somewhere. It would have been convenient to maybe have those around me, but it doesn't matter. And I remember being really nervous traveling. I could immediately tell that this was going to be an issue for me. When the first tour started, I was not okay with how crammed I felt in the van. The claustrophobia and anxieties that I have about that started setting in. And then, I can't remember if it was this tour, but some guy fell off no, that was a different tour where a guy fell off his stool at the bar and cracked his head wide open. But no, this one, somebody was brutally assaulted in the parking lot by somebody. It was just, I remember just like going into an alleyway around the corner. This was like 3 days in or something to my first tour. 3 days in. And I was around the alleyway just being like, I just want to be home. I just want to be home. I don't even want to be here right now. This isn't fun. Like, I was like so like freaked out. Like, not even by the violence, but like by how far away from home I was. And I just like wasn't exposed to it or used to it yet. And I don't know, it's funny looking back because it's like I've done a lot. Like it didn't even take long for me to adapt to that, but it was a shock at first. Maybe it was because of the extreme violence. I don't know. But that was a pretty cool little mini tour. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna end it there. I talked about our first little tour. I think we played Buffalo. I don't know. Yeah, so if you want to hear anything, any particular stories, or the time I came through your town or something, I don't know. See if I remember. There's a chance I do. If you say the right thing, I probably will. Then comment below. Also, oh yeah, my Patreon is in the description. That helps me like immensely because just being an artist is what I do. So I need that to survive. So yeah, that would really, you know, not begging, but I'm just here to talk because I'm here and I have a lot to talk about. I've been doing a lot my whole adult life and a lot of people don't know my story, so I'm just trying to tell it piece by piece. And yeah, that was chapter 1 out of I don't even know how many. Next up is, I guess, recording Punch the Clock. Yeah. So, until then, talk hard.